God bless BG. Brandon Graham in studio right now. BG, good morning, buddy.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you, pal?
Man, you know me, man. We ain't done that yet. I'm just over here listening.
Well, first off, it's OPP. if you're gonna, you know me. Give me a little OPP action in there but anyway, that's a whole nother matter.
Nah,
all right.
I'm happy that we went out there, man, took care of business despite the 2 turnovers we had. I felt like you said, defense. You know, everybody's just believing in the dream, believing in what's going on, and it was just good to display it this weekend.
Sure.
Man, it was a little rocky, though, right at the start. Was there a point right at the start where we were just giving the ball back where you thought, oh, man, maybe this got a little bit too much?
Let me tell you, the energy was crazy. It was crazy. I will say, you got to say, you knew going into it, Pittsburgh was going to play hard. And them boys was coming. Even when he got Jalen with the one, that's what TJ Watt do. And, Jalen did a good job of, what we practiced, but it was more of, TJ just came in. They wanted the ball. You could tell that was on their mind.
I'll say.
And even Highsmith on the one where Saquon got to the 2-yard line, you could see that them boys had that on their mind the whole game. So for us, being able to take care of the ball all game, even with Devontae Smith and AJ and them going, I think that we did a good job despite how we started in the first.
Brandon, you stuck up for Jalen last week. I think it's a fair way to frame it. You stuck up for him. He was phenomenal. It might have been his best game of the season. Might have been his best game since 2022. He was phenomenal in this football game.
Man, I felt like all of them, man. That's all you want to see. All of them doing good. Because that's why they here. That's why they stick with Philly. And they definitely are great players, man. I'm happy that the chemistry was on point this weekend. And man, hopefully we just continue to keep building. Because man,
yeah.
You know the mission. You know what's going on.
I do.
Hey, how hard? I know it all turned out great.
Mm-hmm.
Everything turned out great. And I think what you said had a positive effect on the team, positive effect on the bottom line and the end result. But that was some hullabaloo last week. How did you come out from that? On the other end of that, that's a lot of, anxiety. That's a lot of stress. That's a lot of people kind of, hey, Brandon, and you just got surgery. How hard was that?
You know what? Me as a player, not being able to go out and play, it was hard for the week. But I didn't listen to nothing. I was like, let's just get to the game. Block out the noise. Don't even turn the TV on because I know they going crazy. But it's like, all right, just let's go out here. Let's take care of business. And that's what we did. And I was, man, if anything, I was more hyped about that because that's all that was for, I felt, because it was on my heart to do. And, man, I'm telling you, we got something special, man. And we all want special stuff. And so I'm just happy that it happened the way it did.
Love it. Let's get some calls in here. BG in studio with us for a half hour. We got Ruben Amaro here as well, 215-592-9494. Reminder, Nick Sirianni in an hour. Sirianni at 8:40 today. Let's get to, by the way, Seltzer, what do we ask him when everything's great?
It's a good question.
Hey, Nick, everything's great.
How you doing?
Care to comment? You guys are great.
So what?
how's the
What's
team?
your favorite color?
No, go back to some old clips.
Hey, see any movies lately?
Let's go get some accountability in there.
We'll be ready to rock. But it is a different dynamic when a team just wins and wins and wins. So, but Ruben, I did reference this earlier. While I'm obviously super excited, I have seen, and Ruben, you have as well, enough Philadelphia sports, and 2011 Phils didn't win it all.
Yeah.
2022 Phils were 2 games away from winning it all. 2022 Eagles were 30 minutes away from winning it all.
It's hard to win.
It's hard to win it all.
It's hard to win it all.
It's really
Everybody else is trying to.
But this team is really, really well poised right now.
Yeah, it is.
All right, let's go to the phones. Let's talk to Levert. Levert, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing, everybody?
Super.
Good. Rhea, you hurt my feelings yesterday.
Oh, no, Levert, what did I do?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you told me we weren't going to relitigate anything.
We are not relitigating.
I wasn't trying to relitigate anything. I was just saying we all had a hand in it.
Levert,
Sure.
Levert, who probably wants to relitigate it? Brandon Graham, right here, right now. and then if he does, maybe some people from the organization will reach out to him and be like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah. Nah, you don't want that
I think
no more.
Brandon's done with that.
I'm done with that phone blowing up, boy.
I'm well aware. All right, Levert, what do you got, buddy? Talk to us today.
Oh, I'm looking at the situation. I think we're set up pretty well. The team's set up pretty well to make a good run at this. Whether or not we get the 1 seed, it would be nice. But I really don't think, I've seen a lot of football over the years, and I really don't think we need definitely to have it. It's not a must thing.
It's not a must.
You know?
That's right. It's not a must, but boy, it would be nice.
It would be nice. But I think it still goes through Philadelphia. Everything runs through the Eagles.
Well, they're probably the best team in the NFC. As a matter of fact, I think the Eagles are the best team in the NFC, given Detroit's limitations with the injuries. Yeah. Levert, give me
a step further. The Eagles are the best team in the NFL.
So maybe. I don't know. I don't know about that. Maybe. Bills are really good and Chiefs are
The
Chiefs.
defense isn't as good, the Bills.
No, I get it. But neither was the Chiefs 2 years ago and they won.
No, the Chiefs defense 2 years ago
was average.
but it was way better than this Bills.
Way
The
better.
Bills have given up
gosh,
44 and 42 in the last 2 weeks.
It's an Achilles heel for both the Lions and the Bills. I just look at the game. Look at the game between them. It was 48-42. That does suggest there are defensive problems.
All right, Levert, give me a big answer. And this is for the Joseph Anthony's Spa and Salon gift card. An awkward scene or dynamic in a movie or a show?
Okay, you guys may not be familiar with this movie, but I'm sure Brandon is. It's Friday 2, the scene when Money Mike is in the bathroom with Terry Crews, the ex-con.
Love Terry Crews.
The ex-con is trying to rape him, and he's got a pair of pliers, and he grabs him by the, the pliers. Yeah.
Oh, you don't like to get grabbed by the pliers, but fair enough. Thank you, Levert, for the call. All right, Ruben, let me give you a sort of awkward, I guess, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
When the Phillies get a phone call from someone representing Ranger Suarez, as they probably got in the last couple days, and the phone call goes like this. Hello, Dave? Yeah, hi. Yeah, hi, this is Scott Boras. I want you to know I now represent Ranger Suarez.
Right.
So, Ruben, as a Phillies fan, that's never good news.
It's never terrible news, but it's not great news.
It's not good news. The guy who price hunts the best, good for him. Contracts.
That's what he's supposed to do.
Price hunt? Is that what that's
price
called?
Hunts.
Oh, he absolutely does that.
Price
100%.
hunts the best contract, now represents Ranger, who's got 1 year left on his deal.
Right.
Ruben, how are we to feel about this?
I mean, you don't feel any differently. My thing on Ranger is this. He's got 1 year to play for a contract and to show the world that he is healthy and he can pitch an entire season and do it consistently. And I love the fact that he's going to have to pitch hungry. And I want him on that 1 year deal. I love it. Honestly, I don't mind paying players when they perform because they deserve it. And so,
but you also know if he performs, the contract could go up. You ready for this? Could go up $100 million,
and that's okay.
$100 million.
Well, if that's the case, then you're happy. Then you're happy as hell as an executive,
and he won't
because
be
he's
here.
performed.
Is Ranger,
and that's okay.
Yeah,
but that's not as good as signing him early.
Yeah, like Christopher Sanchez. You want to do what you did with Sanchez and get him early, and then you're buying out those expensive.
If Ranger puts it together this year, if he puts it together this year, and it feels like a complete season where he's been dominant, do you trust that it's more than just he was motivated, it was a contract year? Do you trust that he could do it next year?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, and that's the reason why they have not signed him long term, because they've seen that he has not been able to do that for a full season.
Yeah, no, I think that's right.
I mean, and
so now we have to see what it looks like while he does it.
It's
if
a
he
conundrum.
does it, how much he can make it last. Hey, it can't dip too far, otherwise
different from Sanchez just because of the timing and the dollars and cents. I mean, this is a pretty good deal for a really good left-handed starting pitcher in Sanchez. They weren't going to get that deal out of Ranger. It just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah. All right, BG with us in studio. The Eagles flying high, but it was interesting news to find out the Ranger is now linked up with Scott Boras. Let's go to the phones. 215-592-9494. Talk to Ed in Phoenixville. Ed, good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
What's up, Ed?
What up, Ed?
Brandon, how's it going? Impressive win on Sunday. There's a couple things I wanted to touch on. I think what really impressed me about Jalen, and you don't want to compare Jalen to like Nick Foles, but what really worked when he was in that offense was like the quick decisions he was making. Like that ball was out by the time his back foot planted, and like on that pop pass where Jalen hit the AJ Brown, that was a quick read. It was a decisive read, and I just can't wait to see more of that. Like that's where that's what made him unstoppable in 22. And you know, Tom Brady talks about the rhythm, and like
I thought that was so cool. I thought it was cool after the game, Ed, when Tom Brady said, "I think you're unstoppable. I don't think there's anyone out there who can stop you when you're in rhythm." Yeah, I agree. He is such a weapon. Oh my gosh, just the way it feels for a defense to watch, and Brandon can talk about this too. The way it feels for a defense to sit there and do everything right against the quarterback, and then to have him still run for that first down. It's such a helpless, deflating feeling. Just
I feel like Brandon, the guy that got you maybe through the
you.
years the most with that, maybe Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Because he was really crafty with that. Mahomes, obviously, in the Super Bowl. I mean, that dynamic where a guy can break it, particularly on third down when he has to, and get that first down. I mean, that can really, and Jalen brings that to the table.
How much does that hurt?
It hurts because, like, watch your top players running to the sideline, like tapping out, like, "Hey, man, I gave you everything I had on the third down."
That was the last play. That was the play I gave everything, every ounce that I had, and he somehow wriggled out and extended. Now it's a first down. Now
Pretty amazing.
I've got more plays.
You hoping that the back come in and take care of the first two, and then third come in and see your big dogs get back in. But boy, it's deflating for sure.
Hey, Ed, give me a big-time answer, an awkward scene or dynamic.
When Harris threatens to drink Jobu's rum, and then Serrano says it is very bad to drink Jobu's rum.
You got it, man. Major league. Good stuff right there. So, Brandon, one of the, I think, storylines with your squad that has been under-discussed, and I guess it's probably happened before, but I don't remember seeing it. The outrageous percentage of plays that Jalen Carter as an interior defensive lineman is playing. So there was a few games back, he played 100% of the snaps. There have been a lot of games where he's played 90-something or more percentage of the snaps. This is a position where normally your best guy might play 70, 65, the rotation. I mean, Fletcher Cox, he's in, he's out. And I'm not ripping Fletcher. It's just that's the way, big guys having to chase the running back and the quarterback and everything you just described. So how's he doing it? How is Jalen Carter sometimes playing, and here's the thing, not just playing, effectively playing? How does he do that 100% of the snaps?
Hey, that's that young man right now. I say, I see him working. See him getting treatment because, Body is getting beat up by, 2 guys at a time and sometimes 3, but I know for him, he's doing those little things that, we talk about as vets, and it's starting to wear on, starting to, rub off on him. And I think, it's just, man, he's just getting better as the season going. He knows what to expect. He knows that they coming for him, and I think he's really bringing on the challenge and happy because he know other guys getting one-on-ones. And, it seemed like everybody just happy and in a groove. And if I got to do the dirty work, that's what he do. He ain't got to do too much extra. He ain't got to throw the fists and all that stuff like he been doing. But it's all good. Like, I know that's part of it. You got to have this aggression that he has, and I know for him, he's going to get better as we continue to keep going.
Jalen, one of the major problems, what we're talking about today for our show is, whether we feel like our concerns have been alleviated this season for this team moving forward, postseason, and everything. And the thing I think is really concerning is our defensive line with you out. We are thin. We are beyond thin. We have not really felt the thinness because we're so good. Because 43 snaps is all that the defense required this last week to against the Pittsburgh Steelers. 43 snaps is you're doing your job. You're keeping that number down. When a good offense gets going, like our offense this last week, our offense was 80 plays, I think. What happens if we go up against a team that extends more drives and these young players have to, rather than 43 snaps, and because some of these young players are, Nolan Smith 95%. If he's at 41 of those 43 snaps, what happens if that snap number goes to 80? How can he sustain the level of play? These young players, that's when I worry about trailing off.
So I worry about that also, but I'll tell you this, Brandon. Nolan Smith, 2 months ago, I was out. I'm just being honest with you.
I believe.
I was out.
I'm glad you're telling me that.
And I'm because you guys know, I'll admit when I'm wrong.
I like it.
Like, Nolan Smith, this is one of the best in-season improvements I've ever seen in Philadelphia sports. He's playing good football.
Oh, yeah.
And 2 months ago, I'll take a play or two here or there. So how's the hell they actually doing it?
Hey, he's been working every day, man. I'm telling you, I've been seeing guys just putting the work in, taking the bash, the hit about the media on this and that is not coming. And I just told him, stay what you're doing. Keep going. Because they don't know what you're putting in, but I'm telling you it's going to pay off one day. And I'm just happy that it's starting to pay off for him because he ain't even done yet. And, man, did you see that hurdle he did over
I love one of my favorite plays.
I was just like, man, this only
He lost contain, though.
He did. But he didn't expect what's the name to get up out of there, but it shook him for a second. Like, what just happened? But Nolan definitely wants to do the right thing. And, coming in, he just want to get it right. And he got tired of coach getting on him, too.
Oh, I'm sure. Josh Sweat's another guy. And this is a different path because he had established something in prior years.
Smith is precocious comparatively speaking.
No, I get it. But, you look at – there was a stretch, I think, of about 10 games Josh Sweat last year to this year didn't have a sack. No sacks. 0 for 10.
Yeah.
And now, Brandon, it's like he gets a sack every week. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm just telling you, those two.
Nolan Smith has picked it up more than Josh Sweat has. Nolan Smith, it's a very different trajectory in my mind.
But I'm just telling you, Brandon.
And I think Nolan Smith has passed, and it continues to just extend that.
Here's my point: the team needed it with you out. Mm-hmm. Team needed it, and those guys are delivering. It's really impressive.
I'm loving that. That's what you see, man. That's what you talk about. Like somebody next man up, and man, they taking advantage of their opportunity. And like I told them, I just want to dance with you. Put the sweat up for the sweat, and then whatever. Nolan shaking the dice, doing what he do. Man, it's just that's it. Because like I told them, this is for y'all for the taking. It's just go take it. You know what I'm saying? Because I hope for y'all here 15 plus and still coming off 3 or 4 Super Bowls. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm so on this year because it's an opportunity that's right here before our eyes, and let's not mess it up.
Sure. All right, let's go to the phones. Let's get to Jacob right now. Jacob, good morning, buddy.
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Doing well, all Jacob.
Right. Talk to you first. I don't get emotional too much, and I've cried a lot over the Eagles, but when you went down, it was the toughest thing I've experienced with the Eagles for a while, and I just hope for your recovery, and your ass better be back next year, at least in some capacity with this team, man. I love you.
Man, I appreciate you, Jacob, man. Appreciate you for real.
And to get to the game, or I guess for the seeding conversation, I think that the Eagles have the easiest schedule of those 3 teams.
Sure.
Based on how the teams have performed.
I think we might have the easiest schedule left out of everybody. I'd see something along those lines.
Yeah, you might be right about that for real. But with the Cowboys, they've kind of split a couple of games these past few weeks, and the Commanders have been pretty tough. But we saw how they ended the game against the Saints, so I'm kind of skeptical on them. But
by the way, Jacob, let me just throw this in there because I think this part gets left out of the 1 seed conversation. A lot of the 1 seed talk, people say, listen, want the 1 seed, but if the Eagles don't get it, they can win in Detroit or they can win in Minnesota. And that is true. But here's the other problem with the 1 seed thing. Two other problems. You got to play a whole extra game. Okay, you got to play, it's a whole 60 more minutes. You can get injured. You're less rested for then the following game. That's not a non-factor. And the other thing is that first game could be against Green Bay. And I'm telling you, I don't care how good the Eagles are, and they very well may be the best team in football. Green Bay could win that game. Green Bay is probably a top 7 or 8 team in pro football also. So you don't want to play that game.
Yeah, and honestly, we don't know how the schedule's going to look in Week 18. They may schedule the Eagles later in the day, and they'll know the outcomes of those games, so that they know whether or not
it's going to be. Listen, it's going to be fascinating how they flex it. And does Detroit, Minnesota get flexed? Do the Eagles get flexed because Saquon could be? By the way, Eagles could get flexed. I think to a Saturday in the last week, right? The last week
they could, yes, with the Giants.
See, I've wondered that they could flip the Eagles on a Saturday because it keeps the integrity of Detroit, Minnesota the next day. And Saquon gets a primetime audience all by himself to try to go get Dickerson's record. Like, keep that one in mind.
And it's against the Giants.
And it's against the Giants.
Yes.
Man.
Like, that could be a Saturday game.
They might end up sitting the second half because of Saquon going for 3 touchdowns in the first half. He's going to be motivated, man. So
all right, Jacob, give me an answer. What's the most awkward scene or dynamic ever in a movie or a show?
Hey, the basement in the pawn shop of Pulp Fiction is pretty awkward.
Good answer.
My God.
That's a great answer.
That's a great answer.
One answer.
Pulp Fiction, holy mackerel.
Yes.
That is quite awkward. Brandon, you got an awkward scene through the years as a movie fan, as a show fan? Like, let me give you an example. You ever seen When Harry Met Sally?
Nope.
All right, Harry, Sally.
Brandon, do yourself a favor,
I
man.
had to, huh?
So think of it this way. Best friends, and they decide
With benefits.
Well, they decided
right away. That's the whole point of the story.
They decide to get together this one night, and then Ruben, the next morning, they wake up. Like, Ruben's never been in that spot where you wake up and you're like, "What's going on here? What do I?"
I'll plead the fifth here.
Anyway, I'm just saying it's that next morning awkwardness is, but anyway. So I'm just think about it. If you got an awkward scene or dynamic through the years, hit us up, 215-592.
Joe acting like he knows about that next morning.
Right.
Awkward.
Cook me breakfast.
He knows nothing about it.
What?
Cook me breakfast.
Oh, for goodness.
I'm hungry. Fill my
Please,
tummy.
Please.
No,
Fill my tummy.
Come on. I'm trying to deviate here. Brandon, it's like you last week walking back into the Eagles. I'm like, hey, how's everybody doing? How's the weather out there?
It's so funny. It's so funny, man, because that's exactly it right now.
Anything going on around here?
Everybody like, what should we talk about tonight? What Nick about to get on?
BJ, you were mighty lucky you weren't a rookie last week, man.
With Coach Reed too, boy, that would have been crazy.
Can you imagine that?
Oh, man. I remember when my first year, I did get in trouble. I had said I was going to whisper something to Aaron Rodgers' ear, sack, and man, that thing blew up. And I went upstairs and went to Coach like, I know, Coach, my bad. He's like, come on, man. Yeah. Bulletin board material? Come on. Yeah. I could just see his mustache just shaking every time he said, come on.
John, did you ever get in trouble, something like that? Gruden or Andy, where you said or did something you weren't supposed to do?
Coach's dream over there? Come on.
I'm just saying, listen.
I don't know. I mean, I don't remember specifically.
I'm sure you
the thing with Andy,
probably did.
I did go in and complain to Andy. I en route to a meeting, and so it did get a little bit heated.
He was annoyed at you?
I don't think he was annoyed.
Well, what were you complaining about?
I was complaining about
run the ball more.
No, it's a sensitive subject.
Okay, all right.
The guys in the training room being too comfortable just sitting in the training room, lounging around, rather than being out there at the special teams practice.
Gotcha.
You had way too much comfortability. You can't make the club in the tub, and all of a sudden that had been forgotten. I felt like we needed an attitude adjustment, and we talked about it. And
then you got hurt right after that, right?
Yeah. And I felt like it really needed to be brought up with the team. And so we did talk about it, and it did get better. And then it was like the next game or 2 games later,
sure.
I'm filling in for Reno Mahe to cover a punt because we think they're going to come and try to block it. And I take one step and snap. I'm now
That's brutal,
the hurt
man.
guy.
Brutal. Ruben, how about you as a player? I mean, so you were fairly young with Macho Rowe being Macho Rowe. Was that intimidating, or were you?
Oh, that was really intimidating. Yeah,
what was that like?
It was not easy. You were a little on pins and needles, a little different than it is now. Guys walk into the clubhouse as rookies, and they're they love them. They're loving on them, and I think it's much better what it is now than it was then. It was already tough to play in the big leagues, and now you got that added pressure of having all these other guys.
Well, they were guys that grew up in the 70s. Hazing was a part of culture.
Yeah, of course.
Hazing was a whole different thing.
Hazing, hazing
was a real thing.
Is hazing out now?
It's not as. It's not as. I mean, you still see people do stuff, but it's not like how it was. Like
not even close.
It used to be a fear to come into the building. Like, oh my god!
No, there was some funny stuff though, like really fun, funny, like Mohawk. I think Mohawks are funny.
Yeah,
Mohawks are fun and funny. Mm-hmm. No one's getting hurt because they now have like the circle, like Friar Tuck cut on the top of their head. Like that's funny.
That's not happening anymore. Eyebrows off. Like I didn't say that. You know what I'm saying?
Or just one.
Or just one side.
Yeah.
There was some fun stuff that went on, but I have to say the one awkward moment I had with one of my favorite human beings was when I came back the second time with the Phillies with John Vukovich. John, we were actually in the shower after a tough loss, and somebody, I forget who it was, or one of my bench mates made a comment just really quietly about something that happened in the game that was really funny. Mm-hmm. And I sort of chuckled, and John Vukovich was like in the corner of the shower, and he looked at me and just blew up on me. And I was like, what? Because I respected the game. I was one of those guys that I kept quiet generally. I didn't, when we lost games, it was like, silent, and you pin drop.
Yeah.
And I sort of chuckled, and he was like, he snapped on me,
and you don't want him. And you don't want John Vukovich snapping on you.
No, you don't.
Him or Boa, right?
I mean, he was like my other dad, and so we talked about it later on and sort of hashed it out. But he was like, "I had to make an example out of you." I was like, "Okay, I get it."
Wow,
right.
And that's it.
I got it.
And that's a naked snap too.
Naked snap, totally naked snap. Yeah, we were fully naked.
Next level.
Yes, it was.
That's the next level. What would you call that? Of intimacy.
Yeah,
when it's a naked snap.
No doubt about that.
Yeah. Brandon just made with
tough visual. That's a tough visual.
And it's like, Brandon Graham with us, of course. He's brought to us by Primo Hoagies, the official hoagie of BJ. Official holiday party trays. Obviously, look, we're coming up to the holidays here. Get yourself Primo Hoagies for the holiday. Party trays for your parties from Primo Hoagies, online at primohoagies.com. It's not just a hoagie. It is a Primo. It's Brandon Graham in studio with us, 94 WIP HD1 Philadelphia, as we broadcast today, of course, from the Taste the Cake studio. BG, it seemed like, based on the comments Sunday after the game, that there may be a little bit of us against the world with the players. Am I hearing that right? Because that's what I sensed. Is that a little bit of a rallying cry? Because I know the players, I got to imagine, want to have the city on its side, and the fans might not want the media, and I get that. That's fine. But it seemed a little like we'll show you, and I don't want to say the heck with you, but like a little tinge of that. Am I feeling that right or not?
I say, when is it ever not? You know what I'm saying? Us versus y'all. We got to keep y'all. We got to keep everybody out of our business on what we do. We just got to put out the product the way so that y'all can see it a certain way so y'all can talk about it.
Now, we want you to win, right?
I know y'all do, but y'all got a job too. That's why I say when is it never against y'all. But some stuff does motivate when you do say certain things.
Sure.
And of course, when you got it all wrong, we just want you to be accountable.
Is it hard in the down times? Like last week really wasn't a down time. It was tumultuous, but you had a 9-game winning streak. But like the 2012s, the 2015.
That's a tough one, 2012.
2020?
Yeah, 2020.
How tough is that?
It's tough. It's tough. And after a while during the season, it kind of becomes, it is what it is. This season, you chalk it up. So it's so much dirt you can throw in the beginning. But then as you get towards down the line and you know what it is, you don't really get it as bad. You just hope to finish stronger so that you can get ready and prepare yourself for next year.
Brandon, this last week, I think it proved, at least to us from what we saw, from what we were told, that there were more practices and meetings devoted to passing and working on that and getting that better. And then we saw the results. It seemed like it was better. Are there a lot more areas that need to be addressed with extra emphasis at this point of the season? And if so, what needs to be a couple extra, meetings about that for this team to get where it needs to go?
I think you start here, like you've been doing, and then add, like you say, you added some stuff, but you're trying to find that balance with everything. Because if you overly do something, then something else fail.
Sure.
But you try to stay balanced and stay consistent with what you're doing. And I think Coach is got a nice little method from this week that they'll probably do this week, and then just see how it goes week to week. Because I feel like it's adjusting week to week every week because of depending on who you're playing.
There's something like, is there something on defense that equates to the run versus pass ratio? Like for us on offense, I always wanted to run more. As a player, is there something on defense that you guys are always like behind the scenes, like coach, we want to do this more than anything else?
Oh yeah, it's certain blitzes you want to run because
Yeah.
you've had some success on. You just look at how many plays and what's being called and how many plays you've made on certain calls. And I know Jalen Carter love when we blitz because he get 1-on-1 a little bit.
Oh sure.
Certain things like that, especially in the game where you're like, Coach, run this because I'm getting hit, and so I think that's most of it. That's part of it.
Hey. Sorry, BG, last thing here, because we're not going to see you for 2 weeks because of Christmas and New Year's and just, when the holidays are falling.
Oh, Christmas on Tuesday?
Well, it's on Wednesday, but we're not here Christmas Eve. Yeah. Okay. Any chance of you being back if the team reaches the Super Bowl? Like in your early weeks of rehabbing, is it possible or is it off the table?
Man, anything is possible, so that's how I'm gonna feel. That's how I'm gonna feel it in. But just know we working. We working, trying to see what happens. We got to get there. And so I guess I'll be ready to tell you that when I get there.
Understood. Fair enough.
Do you see the smile on his face?
I do.
Just saying. The people on the radio can't see.
There's hopefulness there. There's hopefulness.
Attention.
Hey, that would be so sweet. And then, boy, go out there, put your left hand again on that ball. Man, the one that you hurt, it's like, boy, nah. But I am working. We working. The Eagles organization, top notch, just helping guys get back, and so I'm excited to see where we at.
Good, man.
At that time.
Well, look, good luck with the rehab. Good luck with the leadership, obviously from the spot you're in now.
Yep.
And Merry Christmas to you, Brandon.
Merry Christmas to everybody. Go Birds! EAGLES Eagles.
Put another way. Oh, no. Hold on, I got to hear it again. There was no way after that, right?
No.
Hey, Brandon, stay well, buddy.
No, thank y'all.
All right, there he is, Brandon Graham. Up ahead, Elliott Shore Parks. Nick Sirianni also in a half an hour. Sirianni at 8:40. Joe DeCamera and John Ritchie. It's 94 WIP.